Haley, an ITC at Robert E. Ayler Middle School, and I'm here today to present to you Jamboard. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and share my screen. You're looking at 10 ways to use Jamboard.
Yes, I can see it.
Terrific. Okay, Jamboard is a wonderful interactive tool that can be used in the moment. I have placed a link up here at the top of the screen that you can copy and use, but I've also shared Jamboard with you. Jamboard was designed to work with Google Meet, and we're going to go over some of the different areas of Jamboard that you will find helpful. First thing we're going to talk about are Jamboard tools. You'll notice that on the left-hand side, you have a floating toolbar, very much like the floating toolbars we are familiar with from Smartboard and other interactive whiteboard devices. If you start up here, you have your pen. Click on the little caret, and you'll notice that we have different types of pens. There's markers, there's a highlighter, and there's a brush. We also have different colors available. The next is the eraser. Unfortunately, the eraser comes in only one size at this time. Then have your select button, and you use the select button whenever you change from one tool to another. Here's my favorite. It's the sticky note. The sticky note can be written on, and you can use any color that you like. Students love to use sticky notes. We then have Add an Image tool. The Add an Image tool gives you several ways that you can select a file. You can upload one from your computer. If you have the URL, you can type it in. You can use one, a picture taken from your camera. You can do a Google image search. Get one from your Google Drive or from your file of Google folders. We now have the Shapes tool. The Shape tool has expanded. At first it was just circle, square, and triangle, but they are adding more shapes as people ask for them. How do you ask for things to be added to a Google tool? I will show you that in just a moment. Finally, we have the laser. The laser tool is something that you as a teacher can use to bring attention. You can see that it actually erases itself. Unfortunately, you need to remind students hands off on the laser tool, because if students begin to play with the laser tool on the frame, it will make it extremely difficult for other students to type a text message or to post into it. Okay, so we're moving up to the top of the screen, and you have your redo buttons, magnification, set background. With the background, you have a variety of backgrounds available. I'm going through these very quickly so you can see the different backgrounds. It's hard to see them on this screen. But my favorite background is the last one, which is where you set an image. One of the things that really is frustrating for me in Google Slides is that students are able to move your image box and your copy boxes. But if you set an image as the background, students will not be able to do that. And in a few moments, I'm going to show you how to go about doing just that. Clear frame is what you will use to remove everything. So if you have a frame that students have really contributed quite a bit of work to, and you want to clear it for the next class, clicking on clear frame will do just that. I'm going to go back and hit my undo button, and it's back. In the center at the very top, you have your frames. You move forward by clicking the one on the right, and you move backwards by clicking the one on the left. Just as in Google Slides, you can see all frames available. You can duplicate one, but if you duplicate it, it's added directly to your frames. So we're going to go ahead and delete that one out. Okay, moving to the next frame. Before you move on using Jamboard for collaboration or TPT activities with your students, think of some simple ways that you can introduce Jamboard to your students. This would be a wonderful SEL activity. They could simply put up there a sticky note or text or even draw how they feel that day. On this, I've also included a wonderful video, how to use Google Jamboard for remote teaching. And you will need to copy and paste the link below in the address bar. This is one of the negatives that I found about Jamboard. The links are not live, do have to be copied and pasted. By using the three dots at the top of the screen and sending feedback to Google. Google really likes your feedback and they work on feedback that is frequent. You can also rename your Jamboard, download it as a PDF, save a frame as an image, remove it, make a copy, and get help. Lots of teachers have asked me why Google Jamboard instead of Google Slides. What's the difference? Well, both of these tools are terrific for collaborating as a class or for use in break room activities. However, Jamboard I consider best for quick collaborative activities and visible thinking routines. This allows you to see what your students are thinking in real time so that you can communicate back to them directly. Google Slides is terrific for any type of activity or assignment that requires text-heavy responses or ongoing work. Also, you get a delay on your return. You do not get those back immediately. But with Jamboard, you can see live contributions of student work and how they are thinking about their work. It's going to show you an example of how quickly you could create a background. Normally, I go ahead and create a background using Slides or Google Drawing, and I get all the writing as well as the images. I can download it as a PNG or a JPEG. This time I'm just going to use a frog. Set as the frame background. And there you have it. Students will not be able to move this. As I said before, I create my backgrounds using either Google Drawing or Google Slides, and I put in my own text box, my images. When I'm complete, I save it as a JPEG, and then I could upload it as a background into Jamboard. Here's an example as how you could do some very quick, in the moment type of activities. So Debbie's taking a few minutes to think about what she's going to write. And she's also expressing an opinion, like, is this correct? As you can see, this is a good way to not only see how students are thinking as they are working, but it's a good way to promote discussion among the class as to what type of effort she can be using. Thank you. I think this is saying help. They could discuss the different types of math processes that would be used to complete this assignment. Thank you. The next frame also is one that was an image that was uploaded. This would be something that would come after lessons on the parts of the cell, and the teacher could ask questions like, what is that little blue dot in the middle of the cell? And students could label. Here's an example. Collaborative technique. The example of the word prefix is mono, and students could come in here and add the different types of words that begin with mono. Words that start with OB, and then I would suggest you have some type of naming convention so you know who contributed the work. It could be the 3 initials in their name, or it could be the last 5 digits of their student number. An example for text annotation. This was done using the highlighter. So at this time, I'll ask my partner here to go ahead and use a highlighting tool and just highlight anything, a simile, a metaphor, a hyperbole, or personification. So Debbie, if you would, I know I've put you on the spot. Okay. Thank you. So once again, you can see how this is an interactive whiteboard. English class, again, the teacher could write the directions up here. The student can then be given a character to describe. So this would be a terrific breakout room activity. Each student could have a different character, and then they could write down not only the character's name here, but what the character says and does. Again, this too is a background image so that it will not be moved about. Another example, First Amendment, and you could have a discussion on the pros and cons of the First Amendment, perhaps even using current events to work from. Graphing a line, this one has instructions about making jams into templates that you can copy. It also gives you directions to the students, like if they get stuck on this, they can watch a video. It does include, copy the link below and paste it in an open tab to use, visit Khan's Academy. And then there's the link that follows. Graphic organizers, a wonderful way to get visual thinking on the spot, have the class participate as they begin to notice similarities, differences on a topic. Here's identification. Students could use text, or they could use a sticky note to identify the different phases of the moon. Again, make sure the students use some type of identifier, either their 3 initials or their last 5 digits of the student number. Here's one that took quite a while for me to build. It's timelines on the Revolutionary War key events. Again, this was all built in Google Draw, then downloaded as a JPEG and added up here as the background. After a lesson on key events of the Revolutionary War, students now can come in here and they are given a definition of the event. They can write in the name of the event. Google Jamboard tips and tricks. This came from Ditch That textbook, which is a wonderful resource for anyone to use when it comes to technology. Going over very quickly, you can use Control D to duplicate. If you have a student that prefers to use voice typing, although Jamboard doesn't at this time offer voice typing, the student could open a Google Doc, use the voice typing feature from the Tools menu, copy and paste the text into Jamboard. One thing I need to caution you, before they copy and paste the text from their Google Doc, they will need to open a text box using the Jamboard toolbar. So they will need to open that text box first and then paste the text into it. Item 3, you can make jams available to students. You can share a link to any jam you use to teach students. You can put it in your Google Classroom, or you can share it in the chat in Google Meet. I've listed the resources. Once again, one of the pitfalls of Jamboard is that it does not allow for live links. Google's Jamboard Help. This is a Google support site, and it will give you all of the latest information on Jamboard. And the others I have mentioned throughout this video. So I want to thank you for attending this and hope that you have received enough information that you can start using Jamboard with your classroom. If not, feel free to contact me. My name and email address appeared in the very first frame of this presentation. Thank you for your time.